Joining us this morning, my friend and colleague, Leland Vittert, host of On Balance. Okay, Leland, so there's a lot of ifs today, and we're kind of waiting for things to play out. A few different scenarios. One that I'm most interested in, though, and I want to get your take on this, anything could happen, but if charges are brought, former President Trump is indicted, President Biden could step in. He could take action. What do you think is the likelihood we'll see anything like that, given the implications of 2024?
Highly, highly unlikely. It feels as though there's nothing President Biden can win on by getting involved in this. And we've seen nothing from the White House telegraphing that they might get involved or that they want to get involved. You can imagine President Biden might be getting some phone calls, not only from Democrats who are worried that if Trump is indicted, and as your previous guest pointed out, possibly acquitted or that the case is dismissed, that really hurts Democrats' chances to be able to go after him on the Georgia case or on the special counsel case out of the DOJ. If you're going to shoot the king, you want to kill him the first time. So there's a lot of political pressure on that side. The second thing is President Biden's got his own problems when it comes to investigations, namely as they center around his son. And if you're going to set the precedent that we are going to indict people for crimes, high-profile political figures for crimes that we wouldn't even investigate normal people for, and certainly wouldn't indict normal people for, as evidenced by we've never ever indicted anyone before for this crime as a country, or certainly as the New York DA. You can imagine President Biden getting a phone call or two from his son going, "Hey, Dad, do we really want to set this precedent here?" All that said, from a political standpoint, to get back to your question, which I think is a good one, the White House has been, over and over, we're not going to get involved in any investigations. It's also difficult to see how, other than trying to exert political pressure, the president of the United States could get involved in a state legal case. The broad powers of the presidency don't extend down to sort of ordering around a local district attorney.
Right. And to your point, we're already starting to hear some of that pressure about investigating members of the Biden family. You're referencing Hunter. Nobody wants to be indicted, right? That doesn't look good on anybody's resume, especially if you're running for president. He can still run for president even if he is indicted. But is Trump in the best case scenario for a possible run right now, no matter where the cards fall?
Well, he's in the best case scenario because he's the de facto frontrunner in all the national polls and in a lot of the state polls, 20 plus points over Ron DeSantis in some. Is he, is getting indicted ever good? Do you wake up in the morning and go, gee, I'd love to get indicted? Probably normal people do not. We've learned that even normal politicians do not. We've learned that former President Trump, when president and when candidate Trump, is not a normal politician. He does the best when he has something to fight against and someone to fight against. And you're watching that. The person who's probably ginned up the most excitement and said the most about possibly being indicted, and your montage played that out very well in the last segment, is President Trump himself, who's been putting this out over and over and over and over again. He wants somebody to fight against. He plays best when he is the victim and when he has somebody, in his words, to counterpunch against. And that's what we're seeing from him and from his team. And every time it happens, Russian collusion, still dossier, impeachment 1, impeachment 2, the list goes on. Every time it happens, his poll numbers go up.
Right. And he likes to be in control of the narrative, right? He likes to be the one talking. Some may wonder, did he pull the rug out from under DA Alvin Bragg by announcing, I'm going to be indicted? Now is the DA office scrambling right now, wondering, how do we take control of the narrative? What do we say next?
It's impossible to ever reclaim the narrative from Donald Trump.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
He is the loudest voice. We did a segment last night. What are the off-roads for Alvin Bragg right now? There's a lot of pressure, both internally and externally, as you've reported on, to not indict. How does he, both practically and politically, get out of this? How do you walk away saving political face and at the same time not just walking into this giant mess that this will become?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.